Hey, what up? This is Billy. Um, I just want to get on real quick and talk about a couple things. I haven't been on Instagram video in a minute, and I want to change that. I need to do this with some regularity because I enjoy them, and I hope you're enjoying them too. Yo, what's new? I'm married. Ah! Are you kidding me? I am married, and I'm married to a good one, man. I think she is awesome, and we complement each other in a lot of ways. So I'm excited, and I'm excited for what happens next. Um, so thank you, everybody who shouted out and said what's up and congratulations on Facebook and all that. Like, we really appreciate it. And it's been great so far being married for just a very short while, but it's been awesome. Um, can I talk about choice real quick? Can I talk about choice? Last time I did one of these, I spent some time talking about knowing yourself, like taking from Dolly Parton's advice, knowing yourself and doing it on purpose. Knowing yourself and not judging is looking inward, to really like seriously looking inward. And then the testing part is, judging yourself externally. You know what I'm saying? And to combine, you get a really good sense of yourself, I think, over time. From that information, the next thing is choice. Once I've gathered all this information about myself, now I can look at it and say, do I like everything that I've learned? Don't try to sugarcoat the bad stuff. Also take in all the good stuff, take in all that good stuff, but also notice the full complexity of who you are without judgment. I think that one of the biggest challenges for humans ever has been the challenge of like allowing us to be whatever we want to be. There were always these rules, oftentimes to control people. A lot of the stuff in history, a lot of the historical crimes that we know of, and racism and these terrible isms are related to old ways of thinking about who we are. Like the kind of essentialism that a black person is a black person. They have certain attributes. White people have certain specific attributes, and that's all you can expect from them. In the same in gender, it's men do these things, women do these things, and so they set up these ways to prevent certain things from happening, right? Because if African Americans, if black people aren't human, then they can justify excluding us from the political system and the financial systems. If women are essentially kind of to be supporters of men and mothers, they can't have their own story, their own aspirations, separate from a man or separate from a child, then you can create systems that justify that, which is why they couldn't vote, which is why I think it was somewhere in the 60s or 70s when women could have a checking account. I'm gonna go with 70s. And the checking account, not till then. How crazy is that? Why? How could they justify that? Well, it was an idea of a woman is X. It doesn't matter who she is in particular, And that's why caste systems were justified in this way as well. You were born of a certain caste or class. You are a farmer. You're going to be a farmer. Why? Because your father was a farmer. So in comes postmodernism saying, no, there is no essential anything. We can choose. All these labels, all these classifications are made up. And they were made up to control us. And they've been put into our heads so deeply that we really deeply associate with it. So in terms of race, for instance, we know that race has no biological core value, that it was an instrument. It was a technology created by people in order to separate one group from another group. So like the radical non-judgment part, that first part is just objectively looking at yourself, but the point is at the end of it to be able to pull out hard, serious nuggets that are more representative of you versus the performance, you know? Being able to pull out and identify what is mine versus what are the things I'm doing that I do in order to project the right things to the world. I don't know. I'm still working on that. I have done a lot of work on it, and I still have work to do. You know, it's been really interesting. It's been a rough time, just as it's been a beautiful time getting married and moving out to Baltimore. I've had some serious depression, and I'm not a person who gets depression. I'm like a high energy person typically, and I've struggled in the past to understand depression and the people who have it. And you know, it's a terrible thing how like empathy sometimes you need the actual experience, yo. And I probably still don't understand, because whatever I'm experiencing or what I have experienced is probably nothing compared to, in fact I know it is nothing compared to what so many people really go through for real. I just want to say, I used to be a funny dude, yo. I used to be a funny dude. Anybody who knew me in college, who knew me even early out here in the Maryland, DC, in the DMV area, I used to host comedy shows. I used to be a comedian, man. I'm a funny guy, and I'm gonna get it back. For some reason, I find myself, when I create stuff in the cartoons and even here, like, it's something you have to access. It's something you have to allow yourself to be free to do. And I'm working my way back to that. Thankfully, I married a beautiful, crazy, funny woman. Just like being around her and seeing her freedom to speak honestly and be honest, even about her faults or even about the things that people might judge her about. She goes in, man, and she's powerful. Choice. So the challenge is know myself, take the time to know myself, separate what is mine versus what is theirs, what is the world's, what is my father's, and then be able to choose going forward. Choose yours now. Do everything with intention, everything that serves you, right? With kindness and love. You're not taking advantage of anyone. You're not selfish, but you are intentionally about me, about you. I remember one of the things I was taught as a kid was that boys and girls can't be friends, can't be platonic friends. It's impossible. How does that affect how a 16, 17-year-old boy relates to girls that he meets in his life? If he believes that. He meets another 17-year-old girl who wants to be his friend. Like, how does he approach her? How does he deal with her? It changes the nature of the relationship, not because of anything real, but because of something in my head. I brought a weird thought, a weird concept about what is possible. My world is limited, and so I'm not capable of seeing her in her completeness and to see her full potential as an individual and in my life. That could be incredibly damaging. I could meet someone who's extremely valuable, who could be extremely valuable as a friend, and I might make the wrong choices because I've said that it's impossible. It's only until I identify that, rid myself of some of these stories, then I can access more options. I can be a different person. I can make different options and different choices with fuller autonomy. Does that make sense? It changes everything. It's a process. Particularly the observation part, if done properly, is a process. And it's not fun necessarily. finding things about yourself that's not great. We're all the same. We are all the same. And we need to care about each other. The same. So it's funny, man, as I left CNN and I wanted to be a cartoonist, and I'm doing that, and I'm doing animation work, by the way. I want to put that out there. I do explainer videos, and I do logo animation and title stuff for all kinds of different films and visual effects. You can see it on my site at billybunton.com. I'm also feeling really compelled to have these kinds of conversations, to talk about philosophy and politics, and religion and the whole deal. And on some level, I know intuitively, and I've been told by smart business people, that I should not do that I need to separate from that and just focus on making money, because talking about these difficult things is gonna push people away from me. They're gonna be less likely to want to work with me. And I just feel like that's terrible if that's true. And I have to test that. I want to see if I can have these good and important conversations with you through the various platforms, through the art that I'm going to do and the animation that I'm working on. And I have a great funny one coming up soon with me and Sheba. And at the same time, be an animator who takes clients, who needs clients. So please contact me. Also, I've launched a Patreon account. Yay! So for anybody who really is interested in anything I've said so far on this video or in previous videos, and thinks that some of this stuff is helpful and wants to help support me as I develop my voice in this way, as I develop the conversations that I want to have, the link is on the Instagram. It's on the profile in the link tree, and I would really appreciate it. It would go a long way to helping me build this thing, I think, which is to entertain and to have serious, interesting, honest conversations. And I think people are hungry for honest conversations. So please, this is my test. I'm putting my own experience at the test here. So I'd appreciate your support. Thank you very much. And I'm gonna get the funny down. Trust me. I'm gonna figure this out. I'll come up with better and more interesting and more consistent content. Thank you. Later.